Watch this story now. Mike Pompeo last night with Sean sounding the alarm over reports that China has tested this hypersonic missile. I want to bring in former Director of National Intelligence John Ratcliffe. Sir, good morning to you and thank you for your time. All the reporting suggests we were caught flat-footed, didn't know about it, and they have superseded our own abilities. What do you know about this?
Yeah, the reporting is not accurate in that respect. Look, we've known about the Chinese testing a DF-17 hypersonic missile as far back as 2013. When I was DNI last year, I commissioned and cleared several intelligence products on the state of Chinese hypersonics. But I don't want to obscure the point. This is a really troubling development. It's not surprising, but it's troubling, and it's frankly one of the reasons last year, I increased our intelligence spending on China by 20%. I mean, our intelligence very clearly told us that there are discrete areas, and hypersonics is one of them, where we didn't know exactly where the Chinese were, but we were afraid that they were ahead of us in terms of hypersonic technologies, and this testing, bears that out.
Rich Lowry wrote this in the New York Post. We're facing a new Cold War with China and need to act like it. He went on to say we've had a zombie arms control policy focused on deals with Russia, while China has been aggressively adding new weapons and delivery systems. We've allowed China to rob our technology and pour it into developing threats against us. What do you think of that?
I think Rich Lowry's exactly right, and it's why I wrote an op-ed last year that said basically the same thing from the perspective of someone who saw all of our most sensitive intelligence. And so on all of those fronts, China intending to dominate us economically, technologically, and militarily, and this is all part of an effort, and it's why why I called for increased spending on China, and why there has to be a greater focus and influence on this going forward. I'm not trying to be hyperbolic about this, but China is going to be one of the defining political issues going forward because, I know that the Biden administration wants them to be a strategic competitor. I wish they were, but they're proving themselves with each passing day to be the ruthless autocracy that, kills and tortures its own citizens, that lies, cheats, and steals in the global marketplace, and that is responsible, at least as a proximate cause, for 5 million people dying from a pandemic that started in China last year. That's who China is, and unless and until we focus on that as our greatest adversary that wants to supplant us as the world's superpower, we're going to continue to see things like what happened over the weekend that demonstrate that China's getting in front of us because they're spending money in places that we should be, instead of on infrastructure bills that people don't even know what's in them.
There are remarkable parallels to what you're describing there. It sounds like 1960s USA, Soviet Union, only this time it's USA, China. I don't think you would disagree with that. The problem with these hypersonic missiles, the way I understand, is that they're hard to track and they're even harder to defend against. And we do not have the defensive abilities to defend ourselves against them if they were to be used against us. I assume that to be the case. You correct me if I'm wrong about that. And if you would tell us, how do you believe this administration is now handling Beijing? Because many of the policies the Trump administration put forward are still being pursued, are they not?
Yeah, so to the technology that you're talking about, exactly right. What hypersonics, they are ballistic missile technology, but they don't have ballistic trajectories, which is typically how we would track those things. And so when they have more of a cruise missile technology and maneuverability, they're harder for our radars to pick up and defend. And that's the challenge. That's why the Missile Defense Agency and the Space Development Agency are developing sensors to modify, our THAAD missile defense systems to adjust to hypersonics. So that's one of the things that's happening. What I will say, Bill, to give people a sense of comfort is, even though we currently don't have the missile technologies to defend adequately against hypersonics, the Chinese don't have missile technologies to defend against our current ballistic missile arsenal. So there's some measure of comfort there, but it does underscore the point about where our focus needs to be and why, again, we should be spending trillions of dollars on matching where China is spending money in places like supersonics or emerging technologies, artificial intelligence, machine learning, quantum sensing, quantum computing. These are areas that I highlighted as the DNI saying, hey, we're still the world's superpower, but there are places where China is matching or surpassing us. And that's what the Biden administration needs to focus on. And they've just got to stop this empty rhetoric about China and stop talking about them as a strategic competitor when, in fact, what they are is an adversary that wants to supplant the United States, and they are an existential threat. The intelligence is clear. We need to be clear as well in our response and not let China see the Biden administration as an opportunity for the next 3 years to advance in ways that they weren't in the prior administration.
It's national defense.
Get an argument from me.
Sir, thank you for your time.
Thank you.